Monday evening is right here on Sammy Flex TV Showbiz Daily, and the gentlemen are seated for us to do our thing. How was your weekend? Hope your weekend was good. Here in the studio, we are ready. So many things are happening. Roland Amate is seated right here. Intimdo Solomon is also right here for us to do our thing. And we are not spending much time. We are just hitting the topic straight. Then we hit them as well. Now, Nigeria is trending today. Nigeria is trending today. Why do you think Nigeria is trending today? Nigeria is trending today because of a certain P-Square. Back to back, whenever I call me a fucking. Now remember, Paul has been talking all this while. In fact, on interviews, podcasts, everywhere you go to, Paul has been talking. Not knowing Peter has been watching the interviews. All this while, Peter has been watching the interviews. And when he felt time is up, he's out there firing salvos, and he's been doing it hot like that. I'll just go on straight to my people, then we can start talking. My name is Sammy Flex. Let me say thanks to Theophilus, who is doing our camera for us, and also shout outs to man like Buju Lens, editor for this show. We can just go ahead and start talking. Chamo, what have you heard so far about the P-Square and matters arising?
Should I say interesting, because someone is not obviously happy about what is happening.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on here. The revelation that we are getting, it's shocking, as you can see, some way, somehow, in the response coming from Peter.
Yeah.
I mean, and you see, it is clear that he's not been talking. We only hear the poor side of the issue. And now that he has decided to talk, I think a lot of things will come out. And as we said the other time,
do you know he's come back for part 2?
Yeah.
So the part 1 was when he talked about the relationship, the family, and he gave a promise that he'll come back to talk about part 2,
yes,
which will be the EFCC saga.
Yeah.
Now he's come back to explain the EFCC saga as well.
Yes. And then with the things coming out, I think you can see clearly from the part 1 that he's saying that he's not the cause of the family issues that they are having. Them not coming together, or even them not working together, is not because of his actions or inactions, but rather his brother Peter. Yes. So and then he has also given his side of things, and it looks like, you see, the last time that we heard the other side, we were saying that if we give him the chance, he will also tell his part of the story, and it could be something else, and that's what we are experiencing now. Now that he is also telling his side of the story. You remember I said there are things that you cannot conclude when you have not tested the other side part too. And I used the children as an example. He said that the brother is not allowing his children to visit him, and then I said, why don't you also let your children go there and let's see whether your brother will
Peter would allow them to enter or not.
Yes, exactly. So now it is clear that there are some issues going on, and because of that, there's no trust here. So how can each of them, like Peter or the other guy, Paul, allow their children to visit each other? It won't happen. And unfortunately, it's not only between them. The wives and other people are involved here. Yes, so it's not a simple case like that. And it's sad that we are seeing something like this. Just that it's also good for people to learn from it. When there are issues like this, you can just see what is going on and pick 1 or 2 lessons from what is happening. So we are just observers looking at what is going on, and then we will also give our commentary as it is. So far, I think he has said a lot that we have to digest and find a way to verify whether they are true or not, especially the EFCC one, because according to him, it is about
Jude.
the Jude guy.
The Jude is also their brother.
It's about Jude setting up a company
yes.
behind their back
yes.
and taking royalties and other stuff.
So, leakage. There was leakage in the company. Yeah.
So exactly. So if there's a way for us to verify that, then obviously we know what is happening here. And it's sad. It's sad that brands or a brand like P Square is going this direction. It's not good for the entertainment industry in general, but it has happened. It's human institution. Okay. It can happen, so we just observe and learn from them. Yeah.
Do you think that now that they are both coming out freely, everybody is talking about their issues? Do you think after coming out, this will be the beginning of the peace or the togetherness we are all waiting for? Because now they are all clearing whatever is bothering them. If you'll be a canasem, because until they talk about their issues, you wouldn't even know to resolve them. But now they are talking. Is this the beginning of their comeback?
Based on
in fact, their second comeback.
Based on how things are going, I doubt if there will be a comeback, because the issues coming out will be difficult to resolve, especially with the secret company leakage thing. How do you solve such a problem? Because it has happened already, and whoever will benefit from it will benefited at that. So are you going to compensate those who were at a loss or what? Like how are you going to resolve such an issue? And again, because the issue is not just between them, but it's a family issue, and wives are involved.
True.
It will be difficult to resolve it. Both Peter and Paul can decide to ignore other issues, but what about the family? Because in his first write-up, he said that the other people disrespected his family, and he was expecting the wife, and he was expecting them to defend the wife, but they didn't. And obviously, the guy will not allow you guys to disrespect his wife. So he will fight back. So now, even if you resolve the issue between you and your brother, what about the wife? Meanwhile, the wife is not part of the brand P Square. So it is something that you just want to work on the P Square brand, but there are other issues, external around issues. That's the point. There are external issues that will be difficult to solve. That's where the issue is. So what is happening, I think, is not even about the P Square. The main characters involved, it's not about them. It's about the external people and what they are doing, especially Jude and then the Jude's wife and the Peter. I think Paul is the one. Peter is the one responding. Responding now. And his wife and other things that he may not even be willing to share now.
True.
So for me, I think come back at this point, I would say no. I'm not convinced that somebody can solve, because the problem is coming from different angles. It's not one way thing that you have one solution or trade-off for it. No. It is multifaceted. Like when you are tackling here, there's another problem here. When you come here, there's another issue there. So for me, I don't think there will be a comeback. Just that, as I said, we just have to learn what is happening, and then we also try to solve our issues before they even come.
Well, this is an update on the P Square saga. Now, let me try to read some of the pieces here, as was shared by Peter of P Square fame. And this one says, "Hi, my dear brother Paul. Just like I've told you several times, I'm not in any competition with you or anybody else. However, seeing you grant countless interviews where you constantly discredit my efforts in the group that we both created and built together really speaks volumes. In your recent interviews, you claim that you wrote and sang 99% of all P Square songs and discredited me by saying that our song with T.I. Joe, which I wrote, was a failure. You went as far as using the YouTube views to discredit me once again. You acknowledged the other songs like you never acknowledged the other songs like Get Squared, Busybody, Personally, Roll It, Temptation, Alingo, More Than a Friend, Shekini, Say Your Love, Give Me That, Senorita, Igbedu, and a few others. Were these songs also considered failures as well? Every time I've spoken in interviews about P Square, I've always used we and us because I saw us as a team. But whenever I speak, it is always I and me, even when I'm standing right beside you. It is as if I never existed. One thing you need to understand clearly is that the fans did not fall in love with P-Square because of who sang or danced the most. What made us special was the magic that came from our combined efforts. That is us two. P-Square was a force, and the fans fell in love with P-Square because of our uniqueness and unity. We both have talent, no doubt, and I have often praised you in our interviews for your songwriting ability. I have also praised anyone who has ever written a song for us, or even for me as Mr. P. But instead of showing gratitude for my kind words, you seem to find satisfaction in rubbing it in my face, forgetting that it is by God's grace that we have come this far. It says, do we command crowds and attain massive audience like P-Square? I often find myself wondering, what do you truly gain by constantly disrespecting and belittling me all the time? You have respected my wife, they respected my family, they respected my talent, they respected my ideas, and even sided with Jude when he was clearly trying to oppress me. Now it feels like you have taken it even further by trying so hard to turn fans against me by making them believe I'm jealous of you. You have been doing everything for the fans to hate me, but guess what? They will never hate me. Instead, they will hate us both because we have disappointed and failed them. I hope you are happy now. I genuinely wish you nothing but the best, bro. As for those who believe these lies and false narratives and come to my page to drop negative comments, I understand, because you have been fed the wrong narrative for a long time. Please allow me to focus and do my music in peace. As for EFCC matter, I'll address it in the end of today. And indeed, he has addressed it. Well, let me go on to Roland and ask his opinion about matters so far. Oh, what are you also adding to this?
Well, it's an interesting issue. I mean, I've read the two pieces, both the one responding to the general issues, or to him the misconceptions that his brother, or the allegations his brother is leveling against him, and the other one.
Okay.
If there are some few things I picked from this whole issue, has to do with the fact that I know sometimes when things happen with celebrities and popular people, especially when it has to do with family, so many people are of the view that, why don't you do it, do it internally? Why do you bring your house matter to the public and all that? And in that he answered that particular question, that as much as they are private people, or individually, everybody has their own things that they are doing. As a family. They are the brand that they build as celebrities or public people also indirectly belongs to the people that patronize them.
Fact.
So sometimes, as much as they may want to keep certain things private or solve them privately, because their brand is also intertwined with the people outside, some would definitely come, or they would need to explain certain things to the outside world also, for them to understand what is actually going on in there. Because it is when they are cool internally, that is when outwardly they will also be able to show calmness or cool. But if they are not cool, that is what we are seeing from here at the outside world. So these are some few things. And also, if there's one thing that I also picked from both accounts, that is that of Paul and now Peter, has to do with money as one of the factors.
Money.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you listen to the EFCC story, money was the problem.
Because Paul, in one of his interviews, stated categorically that one of the problems Peter had with him was money, in terms of money sharing and how monies go in with their contribution as individuals in the group P-Square. And Peter also came to confirm another side of money issue.
Okay.
So this one has to do with this, your truth against my truth.
My truth. Okay.
If there's one thing that is constant in both accounts, it is money. But just that they both have different direction of what the problem would be with money in the conversation. Okay. Another one also is certain things that groups, or especially creative people, face from the outside world, which is indirect pitching against each other. And here I am talking about who is contributing more in the group. In both accounts, Paul acknowledged that, just like Peter said, he is a huge contributor in the brand P-Square, where he writes most of their songs, he choreographs most of their dances, he does almost everything, and like he stated, about 99% of what P-Square does is out of his efforts as Paul.
Yeah.
And now Peter is also coming to confirm that same notion, not only from Paul saying it, but even from his actions and inactions.
True.
And this particular thing may not just arise in Paul for him to say that, even if he is indeed the biggest contributor of the group, some of these things I believe are influenced by outsiders. Oh, you are better than him. Oh, the group there. Abi be you not be.
Yeah, be you the do am.
Be you the controller.
Yeah.
Be you the do this.
When you are not there, there is no group.
Of course.
That thing so.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And when you take a critical look at Peter's account, you can clearly see that in there. That if as much as it probably may not be outsiders, these are outsiders that are of the group P-Square, and here the P-Square is just Peter and Paul.
Yeah.
Even their brother Jude is an outsider in this contest, and for Jude to side with Paul in the allegations Peter is raising, then it means that it is probably Jude that is giving this huge statement into Paul's head, for them to even go and say we are setting up a new company, and where the royalties or the lion's share of the royalties
will be going to
Paul. So in that sense, these are some of the pointers that as a group, there are so many things people would say. Oh, group need be you. You are the huge contributor. When we hear the song, it is only your verse. But the statement from Peter also acknowledged the fact, and he also asked one very question that it actually hit me. He said, okay, fair enough, I will give you all the rights and accolades that you think 100% that you think you deserve. But let's ask ourselves, from the time we broke off, came back, and now broken off again, has any of us been bigger than the brand P-Square, or even matched up to even the brand?
Which is a big no.
Which is a big no. And that particular question really got to me in the sense that this is somebody that is so pained about something that he's built or he has contributed to, and he's seeing it go down the drain. So me, when Paul was on interviews saying things about his brother, of course, like he said, the things Paul was saying were so damaging that it was even causing some of the fans or inciting some of the fans even against Peter.
Yeah.
So yes, and they looked so real. They looked so real, and it is not far from something any human being cannot do. But then I was like, okay, let's wait for the account of Peter.
Okay.
For Peter, before Peter would speak, then we like after Peter speaks, then we would know what exactly it is going on. But as it stands, you can clearly see that aside their differences, they have external differences that are coming, because as it stands now, Peter also has some people backing him in terms of things that he's hearing. He acknowledged it in his write-up that even from the word go, when he was being told these things from way back, he did not pay attention. He ignored. And he's now
for peace sake, he ignored.
So now he's also listening to people outside, of which he has also acknowledged that Paul is also listening to people. So now I believe the brand P-Square here, even if it is going to come back, not even in the next 5 years.
Well, it's unfortunate. Most of these things are happening at a time that we even need more groups. When you come to Ghana, our award schemes, they have even killed their awards category. But we are expecting them to revisit it, because there are some people who are doing so well. Now, let's move on to our next business. Our next business will be about King Sark. Sarkodie was supposed to perform in France. Remember that particular show where some people also started writing that, oh, we will not allow Sarkodie to perform because of this, that, boom, 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 boom. Now, Sarkodie finally arrived in France, yet he did not even perform still. Sarkodie was in France, yet he did not perform still. So, as it stands now, there has been a press statement that has been put out explaining why Sarkodie could not perform. And I want to read the press statement and ask my people what they even think about this statement and what it means to an event that was well promoted by King Sak and his people. Now it says, released on 9th August, Eagle Plug announces cancellation of Sarkodie's performance at Station Afrique in Paris. Now it says, Eagle Plug regrets to announce the cancellation of Sarkodie's scheduled performance at the Station Africa Fan Zone event in Paris today, 9th August 2024. Although our best efforts were made to honor the commitment, the agency responsible for the event has failed to fulfill their obligations. The contract was signed 2 months ago, but the agency has failed to fulfill the conditions precedent to enable Sarkodie perform. Despite the failure of the agency to respect the terms of the contract, Eagle Plug did all within its power to get our artist and his team to come to Paris in anticipation of the agency keeping its part of the bargain. Throughout this period, we have exercised patience and understanding, fully aware of the complexities involved in organizing an event of this scale. However, even after the agency's repeated assurances that all issues would be resolved upon our arrival in Paris, nothing changed. As much as Sarkodie was eager to perform for the wonderful fans who came out to support him, we have been left with no choice but to cancel his performance at the last minute due to the failure of the agency to respect the agreement executed between the parties. We sincerely apologize to the fans for the disappointment and hope to see you under better circumstances. Of course, this was the statement coming from Eagle Plug. Some people even started reading meanings into, could it be the letter the association wrote to the France Embassy and the Olympic Committee that has caused this? But this is also another explanation. As it stands now, because we understand this space, when an agent write a press release like this, what might be happening? What are we thinking might be going down? Roland has been talking to some of these people, so Roland will start talking.
Well, it means one thing. It means commitments were not fulfilled or promises were not fulfilled. Met. It's as simple as that. It's as simple. And did you see the person who wrote, like the person in charge
of this one?
Of the Eagle Plug?
No.
Angel.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. You know, often that when people write, they don't put a name there, so I did not even check.
Yeah.
Oh, so this was Angel. Yeah, it is true. Angel Kwame.
Yeah.
Eagle Plug Entertainment Limited.
And success.
Well, but I'm also understanding it in a way.
Of course.
For all you know, as it stands now, Sarkodie does not see Angel as just a manager.
This is a bit so.
He sees him as someone who is running an agency for him.
I pointed this out because of the controversies that came around DJ Mensa when he came to say he doesn't speak directly for Success Music. You understand? So they may have their individual, agencies and firms, but affiliates largely with Success Music.
Okay.
And you see the letter Angel wrote, he also copied, he presented this letter as Eagle Plug and Success Music. Yeah. So that is one thing I wanted to point out by pointing out who actually the letter is coming from. But this whole situation has to do with Sarkodie's demands not being met. Okay. And I remember not long ago, I chanced on a video of Yemi Alade.
Okay.
Talking about why some artists don't tour in Africa.
Why artists don't tour in Africa? Okay.
And she made mention of some of these things as part of the reasons. Some of these things as part of the reasons, and it is because it is more when it comes to Africa.
So it happens more here in Africa.
More here in Africa. And when you ask any of these artists who have been touring up and promoters, especially outside their own jurisdiction, I tell you, sometimes if you don't have certain foreigners, I don't want to mention nationalities, but if you don't have certain foreigners attached to the conversation, sometimes it is very difficult for some of these things to pull off.
It is true.
It is very difficult. Yes, we know this is happening in Paris and it is all in connection to the Olympic Games. But this is a private event happening far from the Olympic Games. It is just that they are trying to take advantage of the whole situation of the Olympic Games happening. So they will also organize, at least put up a stage for our people to also showcase or sell whatever they have to the people. Yeah. And that is one of them. But then, when you listen to some of the conversations, as much as some few promoters are trying their best to make sure they hold our artists down, others are also in their own corner, also they try to cut certain corners of which do not make these artists comfortable. It means a lot to me, and also for the brand SAC, because for a whole brand like Sarkodie to travel, get there, and it is not as if he wasn't there. He was there. If one qua and Anka betting excuse say, oh, maybe perhaps he weren't sure he would even show up. But if indeed whatever promises you gave them, you intended to keep, at least Odru Honor Crown, that should have been a sign because before he got there, he actually did an endorsement video throughout from the airport to Paris airport. There were videos flying here and there of him landing in the country. So what stopped you from actually going to fulfill the part of your bargain? But me, I would also want to hear from the organizers as well. I would also want to hear. You don't want to trust a good plug from scratch. Exactly, but I am not saying what they are saying cannot be true. It can, because most of the top artists have experienced some of these things before. It is very common. It is very common. But then, I would also want to know from the organizers how they were able, what kind of agreements they had with Sarkodie, and even Darko Vibes. Because Darko Vibes was also publicized. I think the last minute they posted, that was when they posted the flyer of Sarkodie and Darko Vibes. Okay. So if indeed Darko Vibes was also supposed to be on the show, and he performed, he did perform, of which after they had to even make that announcement of Sarkodie calling off his performance on stage. On stage, not even before the time the event started. They mentioned it on stage. They mentioned that Sarkodie can't perform. Yes, so it was, but Eagle Plug released their statement before. But that time it was too late for so many people who would want to patronize that event to see, obviously. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it is one of those things that happen to artists, especially when they would want to. And so if you sometimes see artists showing certain promoters certain kind of attitude, don't be so quick. These are some of the reasons. Don't be so quick to crucify the artists, because most of them have some of these experiences, and if they are to come and share them, like Peter is sharing his story, if we don't take care, we may not like the other party. So sometimes we need to ease down on artists whenever there is a no-show like that. It may not be entirely their fault, but because of circumstances, like they always say, beyond their control.
Well, this is still Showbiz Daily here on Sammy Flex TV. Now, there was something I was actually looking out for in the press statement. If, say, Eagle Plug was going to threaten any legal matters, but they did not mention that. They did not talk about any legal threat or anything. They just left it like that. So I'm asking that, are we to expect that angle to also come through, where Eagle Plug will be attacking the issue legally? Let's go on to Chemo and also get his understanding of this press statement to start with, and again, if he suspects any legal threats in the coming days.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm curious to know whether they want to take legal action or not. And if well, we don't have the details, because even in the press release, he didn't really give out much. It was about they couldn't fulfill the promise and we have to back off. But the strange part is that why would you then even travel to the place? Were you there to do your thing already, or you went there purposely because of the show? Okay. And if you went there because of the show, now I'm thinking, what happened in the last minute that will let you decide not to perform? Not to perform, yeah. Because if you are there because of the show, then you should have performed. You should have performed, regardless of what is happening or what has happened. But some of the money did not come there, and yes.
So there were videos of Sarkodie's artist room and all.
Yes, so that's why I am now thinking what really happened at the last hour. That will let you
that called for the cancellation.
For the cancellation, exactly. Did they promise that when you get here we will pay you, and then you go there and they decide not to pay, or what exactly happened?
It is like that, but he's just trying to be diplomatic with the issue.
About the issue.
Okay. You see, sometimes artists want to look good in a way.
Yeah.
You see, there are something when it happens to you because you did not expect it, you feel like cheap.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so they are trying to prevent so a whole Sarkodie and his team decided to fly when they have not even received their money.
Yeah,
they don't want to look that way.
Yeah, but so in fact, that's why it is important for them to give details that there was a promise that when you land, you get your money or something like that. I'm trying to situate it with what happened to Shattawale's last event, the December one.
Yeah.
You see, there was a promise.
Yes.
Shatta did the promo.
Yes.
The last hour promise, after even getting a signal that these people, it looks like they don't want to pay. Yeah. Then they will come up with something reasonable. So you go like, okay, last hour they can still pay you. So you let me go or let me try it. Then the last hour will come, nothing. That's where you will decide to cancel it, and then people will come after you. It's like, why didn't you get your money before flying and all these things? In fact, if you see, Angel did not give detail for us to know that part. Yeah. But I can bet you, if it was Shattawale,
Fedapia sent me a message. Hey, Sammy, I'm listening to Peace FM and how they are defending Sarkodie on the France issue. If it had been Shattawale, would they have said, Arabraka and Famin Kosheho?
And come before the details will come out. Because Angel is not giving detail for us to say, but you knew they don't want to pay. Why did you still go? Yeah. Or we go like, okay, they promised just that at the last hour, they just try to play fast with them. Yeah. Because sometimes when you get there, you feel some artists will feel like, oh, my fans are here. Let me just pass through. Because if the guys also did a setup with Sarkodie's room ready, everything. So except them paying, so maybe they wanted it for free, but they couldn't say it like that. So instead, they gave promise. But when you get there, then they will plead.
Emotional blackmail.
Yes, they will plead that your fans are here for you, so you just do it. And then that Sarkodie decided not to do it. It's a whole lot. Just that there are certain details that you need to.
The details they are in there. Open your eyes. You see the details.
Know how to talk about these things, and again, it has nothing to do with the petition that the guys wrote. Yeah. So people should not.
In fact, that was the impression people were
creating. Yes. So it has nothing to do with that. So I think we should just get that thing out, and then this thing, it can happen to any artist.
Anybody. Yes, but the moment you try to reason with promoters, these are some of the things that happen. So yes. Promoters sometimes make artists and management jobs so difficult. Like they have made it to the extent that don't reason with them, don't try it. No. Because when you try it, they disgrace you. Yes. So I'm sure when they were going, that money had not come. The artist would demand, Angel, the money come. And say, oh, Charlie, I talked to them. They've given me all necessary. I'm going to somebody say, Charlie, Angel, we can't transfer the money. Pressure. Just come.
They can even write check and say, oh.
Because Angel in the letter said, they proved beyond all reasonable that when we get there, they'll do it.
Yes. So it's
like Charlie, we can't transfer the money. This is the money. Time. It will take days. So just the moment you come, you handle everything.
It can happen. So it's sad, and especially I think the bigger artists, the A-list artists, as they want us to call them, they suffer some of them more. Yeah. So we should just reason with them and know how to talk about it.
Well, thank you so much. Let's jump into our very last story so we can run away from here. And this is Buju Banton. Buju has been trending. Buju has been firing like from all angles. And I don't know why these dancehall guys, they don't want to have anything to do with Afrobeats. Who was the first guy who spoke?
This guy,
Yeah, the first guy who spoke about Afrobeat, he also lambasted them, giddy, 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 giddy. And now Buju Banton, Buju Banton also out of prison and he's also firing. Now let me read some stories and I'll go to my people, ask why they would want to behave this way. Now Buju says, the story reads, that is WNV.com. It says Buju Banton blasts Afrobeat and reggaeton as uninspiring culture vultures. Now the story said, in his debut Drink Champs interview, which aired on Saturday, August 10th, with host NOR, that is Nor and DJ FEN, Buju Banton criticized Afrobeat as uninspiring and failing to uplift people across Africa. And they tell me one Afrobeat song that can uplift us, he said. Kenya is suffering. Young men in Kenya are revolting. South Africa, Sudan, South Sudan, everywhere is struggling. But which of these Afrobeat songs can relate to me for a peace of mind? To tell me that we are in the struggle and even though it is hard, we will overcome. Tell me. Several people online, including podcaster Jafari, have suggested that Burna Boy's Common Person is a song made to uplift. However, the biggest Afrobeat hits often blend pop and R&B sensibilities. Notably, One Dance, a dance hall-infused collaboration between Drake and Nigerian star Wizkid, stands out as the biggest song in both Afrobeat and dancehall. Now, it is certified diamond and has sold more than 11 million units in the US. Leading artists in the genre, including Nigerian singer Tyler, known for breakout songs like Last, Essence, and Water. Tyler's collaboration with Skillibeng on the track Jump has become his biggest hit to date, surpassing 100 million streams on Spotify. The song spent 7 weeks at number 1 on the UK Afrobeat chart and peaked at number 38 on the UK official singles chart. So in short, this is Buju Banton talking about Afrobeats and the fact that they are not inspiring anything positivity in Africa. Meanwhile, Africans are doing Afrobeat. Buju thinks that this Afrobeat is for you people. Instead of you to sing in a way that will inspire the people to do something, you guys are only talking about sex. In other stories, that's what it says. You guys are only talking about sexes. Let me try to see if I read an Ashman post that he also captured from this Buju Banton story. Then I'll go back to Chemo so we can start talking. I'm looking for some screenshot where they talked about Buju Banton talking about sex. Well, Ashman is also saying this. He should discuss how guns and bullets are flowing like the river Nile in Jamaica through dance hall in recent times, and why promoters don't book dancehall artists. Record labels are making Africans of their talent. That's what someone like him should champion. They are doing the same thing they did to dancehall in the 2000s. Buju is a big image for black music. He should talk about how Africans can have a black-owned label, and it goes on like that. Now, let me go on to Chemo and ask Buju Banton and other dancehall artists, looks like, or other reggae artists as well, looks like they are not too cool with.
I think the name that we were looking for is Bounty Killer.
Oh, Bounty Killer. That's Bounty Killer.
Yeah.
Why do you think they will be coming at Afrobeat like that?
Oh, it's not surprising. At any when you go through history, at any point in time, there are some people who are not happy about the changes or evolution that will be happening. Yes, they are not. They will criticize it, and at some point they will get used to it, or they will never accept it. And Buju Banton is like hardcore reggae artists. In fact, for them, it's not just about music. It's not just music. It's spiritual. Like the way Black Rasta criticize Sarkodie. They have some form of feeling and attachment to the thing. So when they see it in a way that you are trying to take something out of something that they love, they don't go easy on you. Exactly. So I will put Buju Banton and then reggaeton and what he sees the the Afrobeat is trying to take from it the same way. So he will not be happy about it. Some of his criticism, obviously, he has a point there. And some too is coming from the fact that he is not happy that anything will even compete with reggae in the first place. You see, in his submission, I've watched the video, I mean a bit of it.
Okay.
He was talking about reggae being the root and no one can come after reggae in the way that they will win. Reggae will continue to be the biggest in our country, and then in our continent and black race as his political stand, as we have to put it. So he tried mentioning names in Africa that he thinks that they are influential when it comes to music.
Yeah.
So he mentioned somebody like this guy Lucky Dube for doing music, Usain Du from Senegal, and then the Mali guy, Burkina Faso guy.
Okay.
Like, he's popular by old musicians. I mean, he mentioned some names and said that those people were doing music that was connecting Africa and projecting Africa.
Yeah.
But he sees Afrobeat as business, not spiritual, not music. He sees it as people. He said it is not connecting with them, like the Africans. For them, they feel that they are part of the African heritage, and he doesn't feel any connection of the Afrobeat with the African heritage and then the consciousness of it. Okay. So he mentioned that when you listen to reggae music, it's inspiring, it's about giving positivity to our race and how we should handle things and how we should fight, the consciousness of it. But to him, Afrobeat is not giving that. So Afrobeat is just about money, making money, like
Afrobeat about sex and
all that. Yes. So for me, I think he's just mixing the spirituality, his feeling, the what we call the political side of music genres. You see, some people say that they are reggae artists and no other music will come close.
Yes.
The same way you get somebody who say it's hip hop or nothing. And yes, and Afrobeat is also getting its audience, and I'm not be surprised somebody will also say Afrobeat or nothing. So for me, I think the political or the ideological conflict is happening here.
Okay.
And Buju Banton, he's not a
new artist.
In the game.
He's come from far.
Yes, and he has influence. Like, he has done so much for his whatever that he says will carry weight. So he's not happy with Afrobeat, and his point is that Afrobeat is just business and it is not connecting Africa or the black race the way that he wants it. While he's entitled to his opinion, and yes, I think he may have valid point, but yes, it is business because that's what we all live for. I mean, survival first. So if people are doing business with Afrobeat, they have to. Yeah. If they don't do that, why should they be doing? They should be doing reggae or other things that it is not paying as it used to. I mean, reggae musicians were making huge money, but can we say same for those who are doing reggae now? No. Are they also making as much as the Afrobeat people are making or the other genres are making? I would definitely say no. So Buju should understand that yes, the business is also important. What the spiritual, the consciousness is there. They will give it to you, but let them look for money also.
Well, let me go on to Roland Amate to listen to him finally on what he would have to say when it comes to what Buju Banton is telling us about Afrobeat. Looks like the other day the still pause their fight with Burna Boy is even part of this, because I feel like well, close the show for us.
Well, even in other conversations, he made mention of the fact that even the arenas and the places that they are touring and selling, reggae artists are also doing it and even doing it better. So all these things are part of the conversation. But you see, it's normal. It's normal when it comes to changes and politics. There are people that the moment they are accustomed to a certain kind of living and they are benefiting from it, if you try to change it, even if it is going to bring us double of what they are benefiting, no. Exactly. And it is like that. It may be good, but in some sense, it may also be kind of a huge problem or even harm the system that they are even trying to protect. Because Buju Banton belongs to an era where that was the top of the game. That was what was paying, or that was the spiritual side. It is a similar conversation between hip-hop and drill. When drill music started, it was the same thing that some hip-hoppers or people who belong to the hip-hop genre were speaking against drill. That drill was not saying anything meaningful.
Yeah.
And that the real hip-hop was the one that was giving people some level of consciousness. Everybody has a way of what they attach to the music they are doing. And every generation, in fact, if there's one thing that Buju and his people are also missing, has to do with generational change and things that are happening in a certain time. You see, the people that the consciousness and the spiritual music and all of that he is talking about lived in a certain era. And that era is not the same as this. In fact, in this era, back then, cultural infiltration was very difficult.
Yeah.
But now it is very easy because materials that you would need to infiltrate people's culture are at your disposal, including internet. Very easy. You can just penetrate into somebody's culture and influence them easily.
Yeah.
So it is one of the reasons why they are seeing a music genre also erupting from Africa doing wonders, but it's not like reggae. Because reggae also came in an era where it was serving the era's purpose.
True.
And it was doing justice to that particular era. It was during the apartheid, the slavery, the oppression period, and those kind of music were serving that purpose. Just like now, we have people infiltrating other people's culture, influencing them to live a certain kind of lifestyle. So definitely the kind of music they would churn out would also suit that particular lifestyle they are living, or that particular era. So it is not, as much as you may not see spirituality in there, it will interest you to know that even the Bedu and Shayo that we are even doing, some people are still seeing spirituality in some of the Afrobeat songs that we have. There is some level of consciousness even in some of the Afrobeat songs that we have currently. So yes, it is an era. And definitely people who, one, may not belong to that era or may not find some level of connection in there. Because in Buju Banton's era, or guy come friend say, Shatawale Adamfuya Bonti Killer's era, it was just about a certain kind of fight. But now, is that fight still huge and relevant as it used to be currently? No. So definitely the mind will tilt towards a different thing. And if it is moving towards that direction, it doesn't mean that the Afrobeat genre that is doing wonders in the world is nonsense or doesn't have any value. Because it will get to show the times change now and situations change. We are here when people were fighting, countries were fighting here and there, and it is this same Afrobeat artists who do songs. When it was during COVID, didn't Afrobeat artists also do songs to support how do we call it, the world? They also contributed. So what is Buju Banton saying? You see, they should tone down. But then some of us, the moment you understand some of this conversation, you understand, and you may not even go hard at them like that.
You'll not be surprised.
Exactly, because even dancehall, their own dancehall that they are even using now to pitch against Afrobeat, they do the same thing to dancehall. Saying dancehall was just about violence and women and smoking and vices and all of that. But it is this same dancehall that they are using it even to pitch against Afrobeats now. So it's a normal conversation, but then I have seen people going hard at Buju.
Yeah.
People are giving it to him
left, right,
especially in Nigeria. He's spending
Brother Buju is feeling it.
But they should tone down on him because it will get to a point. The people that are defending Afrobeat today, another genre will come and they will say the same thing to that genre.
This is where we drop the curtains down for today's edition of Showbiz Daily. As usual, it has been great with my people, Roland Amate from Shagzy, Shatter Movement Empire, Roland Report on YouTube, and RolandReport.com, as well as in Team Dodo Solomon. You can also call him Chemo. He is our online manager here at Sammy Flex TV or Flex Entertainment Limited, and he also represents Intidosu Digital Solutions. Let me also say special thanks to Theophilus, who did our camera for us, and to man like Buju Lanks, who is our editor for this one. Thank you. Yeah. Let me also say shout outs to Empress Cooks. Empress Cooks for my attire. Yeah, this is actually sponsored by Empress Cooks. You see the way I'm looking cool in it? You guys will love it. I'll see you in our next video. Subscribe to us and let's do more. Until then, we are out of here. Bye.